North Korea is the most isolated and heavily armed patriarchal society on Earth. At the top of this regime sits one man with absolute authority over millions of lives and a growing nuclear arsenal. But that absolute power has a biological vulnerability. Kim Jong-un is in his early 40s, a notorious chain smoker and heavy drinker, who reportedly suffers from the same cardiovascular issues that affected his father and grandfather. He knows the risks of a delayed succession. Following his father's sudden death in 2011, Kim had to consolidate power against senior generals and his own family members in a matter of months. To guarantee the regime doesn't face that same instability again, the leadership transition has to begin years in advance. Kim is now attempting to transition the succession from a reactive crisis into a long-term propaganda campaign to secure his family's rule. This strategy likely explains the appearance of a 12-year-old girl. Out of nowhere, a child has been placed at the highest levels of the North Korean military. She made her public debut standing hand in hand with her father, posing in front of a Hwasong-17, an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of reaching the U.S. mainland. Her name is Kim Jong-un. Her presence forces a question the world is struggling to answer. Is she a temporary propaganda tool or the intended heir to the regime? Because no reliable information leaks out of Pyongyang, we have to treat state media as an intelligence puzzle. Every camera angle and seating arrangement is a calculated signal. Deciphering the shifting visual language of these curated images is the only way to uncover the future of the Kim dynasty. For the first decade of her life, Kim Jong-un was a ghost. Her existence was a guarded state secret. The first confirmation of her existence came from an unlikely source. In 2013, former NBA star Dennis Rodman returned from a trip to North Korea and told reporters he had held Kim's baby daughter, Jong-un, in his arms. While her father and aunt were educated in Switzerland, Jong-un is reportedly homeschooled. She lives within high-security luxury compounds in Pyongyang and the coastal city of Wonsan to avoid any exposure to foreign media. Intelligence reports indicate she is an avid horseback rider. Specifically, she rides white horses, a powerful icon of the Kim dynasty's Baekdu bloodline, linking her directly to the regime's founding mythology. For years, it was assumed Kim had an older son born in 2010. However, those who visited the family, including Dennis Rodman and Kim's childhood friends, have only ever mentioned the daughter. This has led many experts to believe the son does not exist. Jong-un was hidden to protect the family's privacy. Her sudden move into the public eye marks a significant pivot in the regime's long-term strategy. That strategy became visible in late 2022, when she made her calculated public debut alongside the military. International observers initially viewed her as a public relations shield, believing she was being used to project a softer, more fatherly image of the dictator. The domestic context supported this theory. The country faced severe economic pressure and strict COVID isolation, making a family narrative a distraction. In these early appearances, the visual hierarchy remained traditional. Jong-un was dressed casually and positioned off to the side, appearing as a secondary family member. While the world saw a temporary PR campaign, the regime was actually executing the first steps of a generational transfer of power. By 2023, the propaganda took an aggressive turn, shifting from family portraits to a portrait of a leader. This photo from the Army's 75th anniversary shows the change. Jong-un sits dead center, flanked by the highest-ranking generals. In North Korean propaganda, seating is power. Here, Kim Jong-un is relegated to the edge, giving the visual center of authority to his daughter. Data from the Nikkei Asia study confirms this trend. Jong-un's airtime on state TV climbed sharply through 2023, and by 2024, it reached levels nearly identical to those of her father. These appearances are heavily concentrated at military sites. More than half of her public outings occur at missile tests and military parades, placing her at the center of the country's most important institution. Many wondered if Kim's sister, Kim Yo-jong, would be the natural successor. She is a powerful voice in foreign policy and an experienced inner circle member. But in North Korea, bloodline outweighs experience. Succession is about the divine right of direct offspring, a rule that gives the daughter a higher claim to power than an aunt. This visual hierarchy sends a clear order to the military elite. Accept this girl as the fourth generation of the Kim dynasty. State media has recently begun using titles reserved for leaders, calling her the Morning Star and the Respected Daughter General. However, a final technical hurdle remains. North Korea is a deeply patriarchal society, where children inherit their father's surname. If Kim Jong-un rules and has children, they would technically carry a different surname, ending the Kim name in the direct line of succession. But as a leader with absolute authority, Kim Jong-un has the power to rewrite the rules of tradition to suit the survival of his bloodline. The regime is preparing for a future without its current patriarch. Command of the world's most secretive nuclear arsenal is being positioned for a 12-year-old girl.